So, Continental has brought us all here today because we're here to talk about, Brian?
Our first car. And I'd say everybody in this room, being a car person, should have some pretty good stories.
No pressure.
Am I starting?
We're just going to stare at you.
You can stare at me. I brought pictures of my first car.
Okay, that's too bad of a first example.
I brought some pictures of other of the guys' first cars. I've got Dave right here in his first car.
Ooh, yes. That's actually my dad's Corvette, which was not my first car.
This your first car?
This was technically my first car, which was a Chevy Citation X11, the performance variant of the Chevy Citation. Who knew they had a performance variant?
Right. What was the non-performance?
Exactly. I mean, this is a mid-'80s GM product. It was still carbureted. It was completely gutless. It had a 4-speed manual, which was like the performance gearbox in it. It would overheat in traffic. And I thought it was the greatest thing in the world because it was freedom for me.
So even in Canada traffic.
Even in Canadian traffic, yes, in the bustling metropolis of Ottawa.
Yeah.
And me and my high school buddies came up with 11 in the X11. So I would jam 10 of my buddies in this car.
Nice.
10 people in a little hatchback.
So Dave and Yuri, you guys are both Canadians.
Yeah.
We are.
What's the driving age in Canada?
16.
16, you can
okay,
get your
so it's the
learner's
same.
permit.
Yeah.
And if you do driving school, you can get your first license where you can drive on your own at 16. Or at least when we were younger, you could actually drive your friends around at 16. Now they don't let you drive around with friends in the car until you're
graduate system
now.
20. Because we're rightfully so. But
Until you're 20.
maybe it's 2 years
Just
or
a
something.
couple of
But
years.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
It's pretty similar stateside depending on where you're at.
Yeah.
And, you hear that and you're like, that's a good idea. And then when I first heard about that, I was like, oh, that sucks because we didn't have to do that when we were 16.
Yeah,
and then you
right.
think about the stuff that you did.
Yeah.
Right.
I guess
Yeah.
you're
I
a
kinda
designated
get
driver.
why
I
they did
feel like I was also the designated driver because I wanted to get my license. So I wanted
Yeah.
to drive. And it's like, my friends were drinking. You're like, oh, but I kind of just want to drive.
Right.
So
Yeah. No, I love doing the designated driver for the same reason.
So, Dave, you got your first car at 16?
Initially, I kind of inherited my brother's hand-me-down Dodge Omni.
Sure.
I got my driver's license in that Dodge Omni.
So another performance
Another
car.
high-performance car, 3-speed automatic, maybe 50 horsepower. But the beautiful thing about it is I thought I was a racer at 16, and I drove that thing flat out everywhere, and I never got a speeding ticket.
How could you?
It was
Right.
it was impossible. It was then in the X11, which had maybe 120 horsepower, I got a couple of speeding tickets to the point where I had to go to a presentation that they gave to people once you accumulated a certain number of points on your license. And they literally made me sit through an hour of watching people die in car accidents.
Oh, wow. Scared
They used
straight.
to do that?
Can you imagine doing that now? There's
Right.
no way. This was in
You already get
you
that
know,
on the internet.
the
these
late
days, so-
80s.
Yeah,
and
right.
I was like, okay, message received.
Yeah.
they
And
made you
honest-
watch Live Leak for an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
But the only reason I stopped speeding so much is not because I thought I was going to die. It's because I knew I would lose my license with another ticket. So that slowed me down. And then I don't think I got a ticket after that for 10 years because I started to go racing instead.
Got it out
So
of your
I got the
system.
adrenaline out in
Yeah.
the right place.
Do we get the citation in the U.S.?
You must have.
I don't know if it was called the citation because I've never.
Mm.
I'm sure they're all broken
Right.
down by now. but
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't
long
think I've
gone.
ever seen
Yeah.
a citation.
Not a collectible item. Maybe not then. We definitely, GM was manufacturing in Canada then and still are. So maybe it was Canadian model. I don't know.
I think we had a Pontiac Acadian or something.
Might have been something different
Okay.
down here.
Do we
Yeah.
call
Yeah,
it
we
like
just
the
we had to
celebrity?
we have to rebadge
I
our
think
cars.
that's what
Is
it
it the
is. Yeah, I think
celebrity
it is
now?
that.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
We did have
We
a
had that too.
celebrity later in the
Oh.
80s. This was an earlier 80s car, but anyway, not a memorable car, I guess is the point.
I'm getting interested.
Yeah, apparently.
honestly.
Yeah.
Car
Ben,
nerds.
what was your first car?
So my first car was technically a 1994 Subaru Legacy,
Okay.
not a wagon, a sedan.
Hmm.
And my dad is from Taiwan, so he has a mentality of he grew up very poor, and to him, anything that has the potential to run, which everything has the potential to run, is gold.
What you're doing.
Yeah.
So he, it was just an absolute clunker. We worked on it. I was 16 and learned to drive stick very poorly. And the starter was bad. So it would start 50% of the time, which is a great car to learn to drive stick on. Because if you stall it
When
at
you
a
stall
light,
it, yeah,
all the time.
50-50
many
chance.
times,
Right.
many
Right.
times I've stalled at a light. And I remember big intersection, me and my dad and my dad's friend are all getting out of the car and push starting the car through the intersection.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, he would tell me about they I guess Subaru wanted to prove how good the Legacy was when it came out, so they did like a 24-hour like oval, just like nonstop,
Like a
like
proving grounds
100-mile-an-hour test
Yeah.
or something like that. And they're like, see, it can run. And my dad would be like, see, it's the best
That's
car.
it. Yeah. Was it something that you had to pay for by yourself, or did your family split it with you, kind of thing?
No, my dad has so many cars that are of the same caliber that he doesn't know. He's forgotten that he has that one. And he was just like, oh, my son can drive now. Like here, like he let me pick between that and like a first gen Sentra that had like a smashed windshield.
Okay.
And I was like, I'll go with the one I can see out the front.
Was your dad a car guy?
He's a huge car guy. Yeah.
Okay.
He's the reason I'm a car guy. So I got in trouble when I was like 15, 16 for sneaking out and like doing dumb teenager stuff and drinking and stuff.
I've never done that.
No.
Yeah. I don't think any of you guys have. You wouldn't know anything about it. But I basically got grounded for the summer. And I had to hang out with my dad. That was me being grounded.
Okay.
And I had to work on cars, and then he taught me to
He was
to
looking
drive
for an
stick.
excuse to ground you so he could have an assistant.
Yeah, essentially.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Free labor.
Yeah.
It was free labor. Yeah.
Yuri, what was your first car?
All right, my first car was a 1983 Chevy Camaro, 2.8 liter V6 automatic. Here's the photo of it. Here's the actual photo.
And you brought photos.
I brought photos because that's
Yeah.
the kind of person I am.
Yeah.
This is walking up to the guy's house where it was for sale.
Okay.
With the for sale sign. If you guys
What
want.
color would you describe this as?
That was just brown, just straight up boring brown, which I
Boring
actually
brown,
like now as an adult. But what we did do with it is here's some of the auto body work that I did myself.
Okay.
Before it went to paint
wow,
and
yeah.
turned the color.
Now I'm noticing you've added stripes to the front.
Yeah, of course, as teenagers do.
Yep. Yep.
Wait, we got the
And this
photo.
is like a performance shot too. You're like really coming out of that driveway.
Well, it was a still from a video. We didn't actually get a good photo of it, but this is what it ended up looking like with the chicken wire grill.
Okay, now describe this color.
Mako lime green.
Mako lime
Mako
green. So
lime
this is like one of those $500.
It was a $500 car,
yeah.
$500 paint job.
Yeah.
Choice.
Yeah.
The good old days when you can actually get that done.
Sure. Sure.
Because today I did try to buy a Chevy Camaro again. Because you're like, okay, we got the Continental thing. They want us to rebuy our first car, experience that again.
Right.
That $500 car, 2.8 V6 auto, is 10,000 Canadian now. That's what
Oh,
people
wow.
are asking.
Yeah.
So then I thought, I'm like, okay, I'm going to get an IROC instead because that's what I really wanted. Because the reason I actually got a Camaro, my dad's friend had an IROC. I saw that in blue and I'm like, well, this is my identity now. I hate Mustangs.
Just rip
I
these sleeves
know.
right off.
Yeah.
Ready.
And then,
Yeah.
I tried to find one of those in Canada and those were 30 grand Canadian. And I'm
Mhm.
like, well, if I'm going to buy a 30 grand car, it should probably be newer because I got kids now. I don't want to like put a kid in the backseat of an IROC and like also like, I don't really want to spend that much. It's hard to justify that
Yeah,
price
you don't need it.
when cars used to cost less back in the day. Like I could never buy a $10,000 V6 auto Camaro
Sure.
because I bought one for $500. So that's why I ended up with the GTO as like a replacement for the Camaro because it was like technically 20 years old from today, like my first car was when I bought it.
So in terms of value and what it is, it's parallel.
Yeah, it's parallel. So it's like if I was the same age now, I'd have to buy a 20-year-old
Right.
rear-wheel drive, hopefully V8, hopefully manual car, because I'm not buying a V6 auto anymore. And I got a photo of that too. Well, I got a photo with an IROC. I tested one out. A buddy had
cool.
one. He let me
Yeah.
drive it around. Like technically, I think I feel cooler in this than I do in the GTO, but it's an orange GTO, so that's pretty
Yeah,
sick.
those are awesome.
Yeah. It was a fun experience doing that, but I kind of still feel like I do want to get another Camaro, like a third gen Camaro, because like the GTO was fun. It did make me feel young again, but nothing will bring you back to like not having
'Cause
responsibilities.
you're 38.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm glad you can feel young again.
So maybe I'll try with an 83 Camaro, try to feel like no responsibilities again, but I don't think it's gonna work.
Now, what influenced the color choice?
The lime green.
Yeah.
Okay, so I went to Mako, and I'm like, what
Always
colors?
the right place to start.
They're like,
Gotta start there.
I'm like, I primed it and everything, and they're like, all right, how much is that single stage paint?
Yeah.
Like how much? They're like $500. I'm like, perfect. And they show me the colors, and they're like, we have yellow, we have orange. They didn't have lime green or anything, and I was like, all right. I'm like, yellow. And they're like, it's not going to look good. You primed it in red. I'm like, all right, orange. And they're like, all right. I go home. They call me. They're like, we don't have enough orange. Can you come back and pick a different color? I'm like, all right. So I had to cab
Like
back.
the most Mako
And then they're like,
conversation
wow.
ever.
They're like, oh, we
yeah.
also have this green. And I'm like, well, if you would have told me, I would have got that right away. So then,
If you said
Had
you
they
had
already
that-
painted like 3/4 of it in orange?
no, they just checked. They're like, we don't have
Oh,
enough
okay.
paint. But I
Did
had to
they,
go back.
they didn't
But
have any normal colors, or you were asking for
I
something
wanted.
insane?
I'm like 18 years old. Like I wanted a cool color. I went from brown to like, what am I going to get? Like silver.
Yeah.
If you go
Yeah,
from a brown
yes.
color, you want to go thing. And the whole
Yeah.
reason I even decided to repaint it was because I was watching too much like Pimp My Ride and all those shows.
Of course.
I'm
Yeah.
like, well, if they can restore this car in time in 6 days, why can't I? And I'm like just grinding off the bare metal, not knowing what I'm doing.
Yeah. At that time, what was your dream car?
The IROC.
Oh, wow.
was-
so,
yeah.
so getting pretty close.
So this
with
was,
it, with-
I had an IROC spoiler on there that I
Right.
took off, or maybe it wasn't an IROC spoiler, but like one of the RS models or Z28 spoiler. I took that off, put it on there, thinking I'm cool, but I still have no body kit. And I still have like high suspension because it's a V6.
Ben, at the time that you got the Legacy, what was your favorite car?
Subaru STI, sir.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you're pretty close.
Yeah,
Both you
yeah.
guys are actually
Yeah,
hitting
yeah.
pretty.
And
nice.
it's very ironic because I hated Mitsubishi Evos
oh
because I was like a Subaru guy.
yeah, and those are
Yeah.
like direct rivals.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
And I couldn't afford an STI. I couldn't afford a WRX. I couldn't afford a 2.5 RS. So I was like, that was my Halo car. Was
Yeah.
like a Hawkeye STI or a Blobeye STI or something like that. And then watching like Top Gear episodes where the Evo would always beat the STI, I
Yeah.
would get so mad.
Furious.
Like, if you ever go to comment sections and you're like, who is leaving these like extremely angsty comments
Yeah.
about like who cares?
It's 16-year-old.
16-year-old kids care. Yeah, yeah.
And what about you? What was your favorite dream car? That
Oh, man, that so long ago. I don't know if I even remember. I mean, it was probably something very too like common a dream car, like an F40 or a Lamborghini
Oh,
Countach
sure,
or
sure.
something.
Countach,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm an '80s kid, so
How were you in the YouTube comments when you were 16?
the only
I'm in the same page.
like
but
the yearbook comments were about the only comments we had in my
Yeah,
era.
right,
Yeah.
yeah.
But my dad had Corvettes growing up,
Okay.
and then he got in American muscle stuff. So I kind of grew up like autocrossing in my dad's C3
Yeah.
Corvette, the ultimate driving machine. So I still kind of like have a Corvette DNA in me, and I think the C6 is like the greatest car in the world. But yeah, I guess when I was 16, it was probably like an F40 or a Countach would have been like, the poster cars.
But what about your
not creative
What
at
about
all?
your realistic dream car
Realistic
or
dream
attainable
car.
dream car?
Like in that era, it was probably like a C4 ZR1.
Yeah.
Mm,
Right.
An overhead cam Corvette.
yeah.
what was yours, Ryan?
Actually, so my first car was a 325i, like an 86 BMW, and it was just not in the best shape. But my dream car was the E30 M3.
Yeah, that
So
makes that
similar
adds
to
up.
you guys, I had like the tiered down
Yeah,
version
yeah.
of that, and got like the little M-Tech spoiler for it and front fascia, and felt really, really cool about it. So, but yeah, nowhere close to an E30 M3.
But in spirit,
if I was like kind of a little bit of a blurry vision, yeah, definitely an M3. But
It's almost like manufacturers have planned this.
yeah, exactly
tier
right.
system.
Exactly
Yeah.
right. Like it's got the same sticker on it,
Yeah.
but definitely not the same car. Yeah, you?
Well, my first car growing up was a hand-me-down, just like you.
Yeah.
And so it went through 2 generations of Heckmans before me, my dad and then my older brother. It was an 83 Honda Accord, and by the time I got it, it was 1995.
Okay.
And nothing worked on the thing. But for me, we come from a racing background, and all that street car was for me was I had just come out of doing karts and fairly successfully, and all I was thinking about was I need to transition to race cars. And so this thing was going to teach me about proper shifting, weight transfer, stuff like that. And separate life from all of this, I used to figure skate, which would mean getting to the ice rink at 5:30 in the morning.
Okay.
So that parking lot to get to the ice rink was where I
That was your
decided
training
I was
ground?
going to be an
Yeah,
F3
yeah.
driver, was in a 1983 Honda Accord.
Yeah.
And my dad was pretty brutal on it. My brother was pretty brutal on it. So by the time it got to me, it was completely trashed, but not in a bad
figure
way.
skating, yeah.
Figure
It's like
skating.
Elvis Stoico. He's a race
Yeah,
car
who's
driver
also a
now, too.
racer.
Yeah.
Todd Eldridge.
Todd
There's actually a
Eldridge.
whole
Yeah.
bunch of Henry Drury now.
Yes, correct.
And
Yeah.
like, there's actually a whole cadre of figure skating race car drivers, believe it or not.
They'll start figure skating. Start my kid figure skating, and then they'll get into racing.
Then they'll get into
Right,
racing.
right,
That's
right.
pretty
Yeah.
much
Guaranteed
the path.
path.
Guaranteed
Yeah,
path,
absolutely.
Yeah.
But like, so mid 90s, like for me, the attainable dream car was the 300Z.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That was
Killer car.
always the killer
Awesome.
car.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
one?
Say what?
Which one?
The twin turbo.
I'm not a car guy.
DX,
Yeah.
is that right?
Well,
We need
Yeah,
a
yeah.
chassis code.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't.
engine
So when you open the
It
door, it
used-
talks to you, right? That one?
Not quite. It used to be a Datsun. That's all I knew.
Yeah.
But,
Okay.
but like that's what Johnny
Z31.
O'Connell raced and Steve Millen, and
You
that's what I
think?
wanted to drive.
Probably, yeah. It used to be a Datsun. It's probably a Z31.
Yeah.
That one
That's true.
talks to you, right?
Black with gold graphics on it. Was that the color
Was
scheme
it? Was
that you
it?
dreamed
Did it
of?
have pop-ups or was it fixed headlights?
No, that I don't know. No, this was fixed.
It's very
Was it
important.
Fixed
They were
headlights.
fixed.
Moving
Yeah,
on.
yeah.
Was it the one with the Barbie commercial?
Yeah, about to say. Ask me about the race car version.
yeah.
The street car side.
Yeah.
Was there an IMSA version of it? 'Cause-
Yeah, well, so there
Okay,
was a
yeah,
super
that's
successful
Z32
IMSA car.
then.
It was red, white,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
blue,
okay, that's
and
Z32
Malibu Grand
chassis.
Prix
What,
sponsorship
Steve
and all that.
Millen?
Steve
Yeah,
Millen,
yeah,
Johnny
that's the
O'Connell.
one, okay.
Those
Those are
John
awesome.
Morton.
Yeah, so
Exactly,
cool.
and those were sort of the aspirational cars
Yeah.
for nerds of our era.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
so
me
that
too.
was
I was like,
aspirational.
when I was 16, it was like Z30. Z31 was like the first sports car with a manual I ever drove.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hopped in at a toll booth and I stalled it.
Nice.
And I got back out of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, did anybody name their first car?
You know, I'm not creative with that. Like people I'm just like green Camaro, take the Camaro. I like calling the car and then whatever. I got the Prowler, the GTO, the Miata.
Sure.
I know you're not a big fan of naming cars, and I've never named one until I have a 1977 Toyota Celica,
Okay.
and I called it Connie for Connie Celica, who you guys might be old enough to remember the actress named Connie Celica.
All back.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it was just kind of a joke. So that's the only car I've ever owned that actually has a name.
Sure.
Everything else has just been a tool to go fast in.
Right. Right.
It didn't need a name.
Yeah. I didn't name mine. Yeah.
Now, okay, so the Camaro looked a little rough when you first got it.
Yeah.
Clearly made it better, but how was it reliability wise? Like, did it ever let you down?
It was reliable. The only thing I flooded the carburetor a couple times because I didn't
Sure.
know what I was doing,
Yeah.
and then like that was fine. But I pretty much got it so I could go to Ski Hill all the time, go snowboarding, go to the park there, and going up and back in winter. And the first winter I had it, so I was working at a shop, and the guys helped me fix it up because I even forget. I think it just needed brakes, but it was a tire shop, so I'm like, okay, I got to get some tires on it because it came with like, you know, you saw the condition of it, like bald tires.
Yeah.
And this was back in the day. This is like 2004, and they're like, well, you can only afford 2 tires, so we suggest putting the winter tires on the back. And this was like,
so crazy.
I actually don't know how I survived. And I don't know how my dad and my parents like let me do this, but I survived the first winter with that. And I remember being so sketchy and looking back, like I've got photos of it with like new tires on the back, old tires on the front. I just don't know how I didn't die.
Right.
So I'm happy that it got me through that. But I think after that winter, I realized like all 4 need to be winters.
Right.
Because some people would tell me, oh, you got to put the grip of your tires on the front so you could steer. I'm like, but then I can't go anywhere. So, yeah,
It's
besides that,
very
though,
well
Well,
around.
I was going to say, I mean, you might have some of the similar stories because you're coming from an era where cars were much less reliable when they were new.
For sure.
But also in Canada, if your car were to leave you stranded, that could be life or death.
Oh, it could literally be, yeah. Here's the full story. I bought a Fox Body Mustang in college, and this was like the cool car.
Absolutely.
And my dad was like, oh, you know, not a great winter car. You got to put sandbags in the back for rear traction stuff. I'll take the Mustang for the winter. Here, you take my winter beater, which was a Chevy Celebrity, by the way.
Yeah. Right.
A green one that I called the Uckmobile. So the Uckmobile became my winter beater, and my dad promptly hit a patch of black ice on the highway and rode off my Mustang.
Oh. Oh.
And I was like, okay, I guess I'm going to just do something completely different. Summer's coming up. Let me get a Jeep. I can drive around with the top down and
Right.
showing everyone my guns.
Yeah. Right.
And so I got a Jeep. Someone had put a really cheap Mako body job on it. So by the end of the summer, it had turned to rust. But I drove it through the winter anyway. And on my way home from college in a snowstorm of like epic proportions, it broke down. And my girlfriend and I were in there with like a canvas top over us in like minus 25-degree weather in a broken down Jeep. And the roads, you couldn't see the roads. Like there was 3 feet of snow on the roads and we were kind of in a snowbank. And we are like, what do we do now?
Yeah.
This is before cell phones.
Yeah,
Right.
We didn't
right.
have a phone.
Yeah.
So we literally like
That's
stood in the
legitimately
road
Yeah.
and pulled a trucker over. He got on his CB and like called the AAA, or in
Right.
Canada, the CAA. And they eventually came out and towed us away like 4 hours later. And we just had to huddle in the Jeep using body heat, luckily my girlfriend, to stay alive more or less.
wow.
Really?
So yeah, it was actually kind of a touch and go situation.
Yeah.
The
How
mo-
old were you?
I was probably 20.
Yeah. yeah,
You know.
probably pretty scared.
Yeah, it was a good time.
That's
I
crazy.
It was
kind
a
of
good
feel
time.
more thankful for my Camaro now that the thing did such a good job of keeping me
Right?
in one
Right.
piece.
Did you feel closer to your girlfriend after that, or was that like a wedge?
No, that was a bonding
Yeah,
situation
right,
for
yeah.
sure. No,
and it's
yeah.
giving him a tactic for the future.
We
Right.
survived.
Oh,
yeah.
so
Oh,
we
my
cheated
car broke
death
down
together,
again.
Ben.
Weird. Yeah.
All first dates going in a Jeep.
Yeah. Now, any legacy stories come to mind for reliability? You did say that it used to break down quite a bit.
It was horrible. Yeah, we did. So did the rotating assembly. I think we did like bearings in my driveway, like my mom's driveway. And my dad was like, "Oh yeah, it's gonna be great." Like that. This was all the car needed.
Yeah.
And then drove it like the first time on the highway, like it shot a rod out of the block. And
Oh wow.
and we just pulled over. My dad took the plates off, and the car was gone.
No.
So,
Okay.
Wow.
That's
Yeah.
one way to do it.
yeah. So no, and then I had a bunch of other cars that kind of like came through my dad, like in high school and stuff like. I had a '89 Honda Accord LXI. Yeah,
Ooh.
fuel injected.
6-year newer model.
Yeah. Double
yeah.
wishbone, all that stuff.
Man.
And then eventually I got a Mazda Speed when I was like 19.
Okay.
And that's, I don't know if we want to get to that.
Might as
that
well.
part.
Yeah, let's hear about it.
So I had a 1990 Camry, and then I got a 2003 350Z, which is I worked at a Chinese restaurant and like got paid under the table.
Okay.
So I like stacked bread all summer, and I got like
And bowls and
$8,000.
plates.
Yeah, a lot of platters and stuff like that. Then I went and bought in Newport News. I bought a like low mile, like a 60,000 mile 350Z, and going from a 1990 Camry to a 350Z,
Just a little different.
yeah, it's like going from like a horse cart to like a Challenger rocket.
Yeah.
And I almost crashed the car numerous times, of course. This was in like a 3-month period. And then I parked the car on like an overlook, and then like left it because I was like on a date, and like we like went and hiked, and we were like going to come back, and this was like at night. Yeah. And when I came back, the car was gone. And the girl I was with was like helping me look for it because like I parked it here. And then she's like, Ben, like, is that your car down the side of the cliff?
No way.
So it turned out that a guy was driving around in his minivan, like vandalizing like other cars. He was like hitting cars with his minivan, and he pushed my car
No way.
over a curb stop, over a curb, and down the side of the hill. And then it was like, okay.
Ben?
Yeah.
Yuri, do you have a story that you still tell people about your first car?
I guess it was just everything that everyone wanted to do
Mhm.
and go everywhere. I did with it, and mostly just skiing and stuff. But I didn't get into that kind of trouble. We did a lot of like donuts and snowy parking lots all
Right.
the time.
Yeah.
I guess that was probably one of the fun things, is that we found all of our car friends from high school with our first cars, because like not everyone got a car, not everyone cared.
Sure.
So right after that, after high school, everyone who had a first car, if it would snow, you get a call from everyone like, "Oh, let's go to this one parking lot," and then you kind of have a whole new group of friends from your neighborhood who are the car friends,
Right.
and then they kind of stick together. Like
Yep.
even nowadays, we'll get like a cool press car to review, and I'll call one of them and be like, "I know you like this car. You want to come check it out?" Like, sure. So I think I guess the first car solidified your car friends,
Yeah.
from your non-car friends.
Yeah. Agreed.
And then like you see friends get like lame cars, and you're like, "Why did you get a Ford Focus as your first car, bro?" Like, you know, you can get a cooler thing, and then eventually some of them do. You can bully them into getting like sports cars,
Mm-hmm.
and now
So
we're
you're
all
pro bullying.
pro bullying to get sports cars.
The Canadian
I think
way.
we all are. Yeah.
But now I'm like slowing down. I'm like, all right, I gotta sell this car, get a minivan. I need more SUVs. I can still have my fun cars,
Right.
but I need to now my sports car friends, we're talking about minivans with each other. Like
Mhm.
one of them just got a Kia Carnival. I'm trying to get a Dodge Grand Caravan. So it's slightly different than like the 350Z Camaro days.
But it's the same comparison of like, what'd you get versus what I've got to
Yeah,
get.
yeah.
And- yeah.
Look at the
Yeah.
features. Now we don't go to the snowy parking lots to do donuts. We just go to like the kids' play place and let the kids run around.
Drink coffee.
Yeah.
Dave, what's the most trouble you ever got in?
Oh boy. Well, I mean, I already told you about. I had to go to that court where they showed me the videos of people dying in car
That was
crashes.
from going to court. That wasn't like part of what you do to get your license.
No, that was because I had racked up too many points on my
Right,
license,
nice.
and this was
Right.
sort of a before we take away your license and send you to jail, we'll make you watch these videos and
Yeah.
hope that scares you straight. So that's probably the most trouble I ever got in.
Did your parents ever take the car away? Anything like that?
No, they didn't. My parents were very hands off with that.
Okay.
This was in an era where, you know, parenting was kind of a hobby more than a.
Yeah, I don't think people realize, like in the 80s and 90s, we had a very different deal than it is today.
We had a lot of freedom, too much freedom,
yeah.
really, in hindsight.
I don't know if it existed in Canada, but like growing up in California, there would literally be a commercial at like 8 o'clock at night that would come out saying, "Do you know where your kids are?"
Yeah.
And like, I don't think that's a thing
Yeah.
in
No.
2020.
Yeah,
it was
like when the
it's
street lights came on at
8:35.
night,
Do you
we
know
would
where
go
your
home.
children are?
That
Right?
kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, my parents were totally unimpressed that I was racking up these speeding tickets,
Sure.
and they were making me pay the fines. Like
Sure.
they weren't paying the fines.
It's not affecting
They
them.
weren't congratulating me for being
Sure.
irresponsible, but they weren't punishing me either. I think I was being punished enough by the fact that I could lose my license
Right.
and I was paying these fines. And, you know, I'd also have to face the shame of like a letter coming in the mail and my mom being like, "Why is there a letter here from the Ministry of Transportation with your name on it?" And I'm like, "Oh, I don't know, Mom." And
That's weird.
so we open it up together and she can see that I'm in trouble. And I hadn't told her about some of the tickets, maybe.
Right.
You know,
Right.
there's some gray area
Yeah.
there.
Don't need to volunteer that stuff.
So there was
Yeah.
some shame that happened there. We got the death stare from Mom on that one. But no, that I kind of got my act together after that.
So I'd say for all of us, one of the cool things about the first car is we're still telling stories about it today. It obviously has a very kind of moldable role in how you then proceed with the rest of your life. So, Yuri, what would you say were the sort of the main shaping experiences for your time with that car?
It kind of just made me really fall in love with driving in cars, and like especially auto body, like changing the color, because I watched too much Pimp My Ride, was like such a fun. I think that was probably my most fun experience, because
Yeah.
then I delivered pizza in it.
Oh, cool.
So I'm in a lime green Camaro delivering pizza, getting like $3 tips and stuff, which kind of sucked. But you know, that just kind of never stopped. I went to like auto body school eventually, like bailed out of that, and
Yeah.
then you know got into video, and then I just always wanted to film cars. Got back into filming cars, which got me into filming for YouTube. So pretty much, you know, this like seeing my dad's friends IROC in a garage on the way to a concert got me into car reviews. And that's just like the cool, like one random thing, one random guy having a car showing
Right.
it to some kid could like make a whole career, which is
Yeah.
like the best
Shaped your
part.
life. Yeah.
Dave, what would you say you still sort of carry today from what you learned on that first car?
I mean, that Citation X11 was a manual gearbox, so I learned to drive manual in it. And so, you know, I was crafting my heel and toe technique at an early age. And I, much like Yuri, I think it kind of, my passion for driving started there. And then, you know, my dad being an autocrosser and kind of a grassroots racer himself, we started to compete in events together in our cars. And that led to me kind of going down a, you know, grassroots motorsports hobby, which then spun off into me writing stories for local car magazines about motorsports, which then spun off into a job offer at Modified Magazine, where I became a full-time editor. And then that spun off into becoming a YouTuber. So yeah, much like Yuri, like my story with cars really started with just the excitement of driving a car and learning how to drive it in a performance-oriented way. And that eventually turned into a career just because it was what I was most passionate about, I guess. And I just dodged a bullet of becoming a university professor instead. So
Close one.
weird parallels, I know, but yeah, luckily for me, I'm still playing with cars for a living.
And Ben, how would you say that first car sort of shaped where you are today?
I think that having a Subaru as your first car, like, really gets you accustomed to having an unreliable vehicle.
Yeah.
So that's been crucial for my whole career. 'Cause most of what we do on Gears and Gasoline is just fixing cars that are broken, right? But I mean, also getting to spend that summer like with my dad got me into cars. And without that, like, I was not a car guy prior to that at all. So even though it wasn't a performance car at all, that's still what ultimately I think got me where I am today doing what I'm doing.
If you could describe that Subaru legacy in one word, what would it be?
Turd. Turd. Yeah.
Dave, if you could describe your first car in one word, what would it be?
Oh man, freedom.
I would say freedom, but with lime green attached to
Oh,
it.
okay. Yeah,
Lime green freedom.
freedom. Yeah, that's good too.
So Yuri, with your first car, tires obviously played a role. Canada, something we don't have in California. Snow tires is a real thing. So you only had enough money for 2 snow tires.
For 2 winter
when
tires.
the winter comes
Even
up.
though I was working part-time at the shop, which honestly, the shop and my dad should have like teamed up together and been like, let's just get him 4.
Yeah.
But you know, you had to do what you had to do back then. I know
Right.
now, like when my kid gets her car and my other kid gets his car, I'm gonna be like, you're gonna get the best tires.
Yeah.
Like you can get whatever you want car, but I'm gonna make sure that you're not driving on anything sketchy. And even like this GTO I bought had like 10-year-old tires.
Right.
I'm like, okay, too old. Did a nice big burnout, toasted those off, got new Continentals on there, and now it's like it feels so much better. But yeah, I just can't believe, like, Dad, I love you. Family, I love you. But like, how did they let me?
Right.
Yeah, that's
right.
what blows my mind
That's
about that
crazy.
story is that there is a bit of a rite of passage that
Yeah.
you should have sort of a beater car and you should go through some of the reliability issues, et cetera. But tires, brakes, these seems like things that as a responsible parent you would not
No,
want to
right.
compromise.
My
on,
dad still
but-
doesn't really believe in winters. He's got a Subaru with all-wheel drive, so he just runs all seasons.
Okay.
So I'm gonna get him like the
Okay.
secure contacts and be like, all right, you're gonna all-weather tire now. I'm gonna throw it on his car when he's not looking.
Sure.
But I guess that's just, you know, the way it is.
How
But,
it is.
but I believe in winters. So
Even as a Californian, I believe in winters because I just don't think you can purchase too many tires.
Right, guys?
It's
Yeah,
true. It's true.
but only Continental tires.
What do you? So when you first got your car, Dave, what do you remember about the condition of the tires when you got them?
I remember them having white sidewall lettering on it, which I thought was really cool.
Right.
It was a performance all-season tire, but there was very little performance to be had from them, both in the summer and in the winter. They were what I would call a no-season tire, really.
Yeah.
So I'd certainly learned at that age that tires have a huge impact on how well you can stop and accelerate, especially in the winters, obviously, but in the summer too. I mean, I discovered understeer at an early age, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Terminal understeer. But because my dad was racing, I also had probably more knowledge than the average kid would that, oh, if I put these stickier tires on the car, it changes everything.
Exactly.
Right.
My dad being a nerd and an engineer, he was very much about like, oh, you need to have the right tire for the season.
Yep.
So we always had winter tires in rotation. But then when I would like say borrow a buddy's car and he was on old bald all seasons, I'd be like, all of a sudden I'm in the ditch because I thought I'd have winter tire
Right.
grip. So
Yeah.
I learned some lessons at that age, going out snow drifting with the buddies and stuff at night, that, yeah, the tires have a huge impact. And I think back then there was less differentiation in people's minds between seasonal tires.
Mhm.
And tire techs come so far too. Like
Massively.
it's
Yeah.
it's wild how good modern tires are. So no, I'm certainly a big advocate of the right tire for the right season.
And do you remember the condition of your tires?
I don't at all because there was so much other stuff to worry about with that car. But I can guarantee you they were 4 different brands.
I was going to
Four
ask.
different-
Yeah. Based
Yeah.
on what you're saying about your dad just throwing cars together.
And that's 100%. I'm not ragging on my dad, but like he would go and buy tires from the junkyard.
Right.
And so it was never an issue of affording tires because it's like you'd get them
Yeah.
like $25 a tire or whatever. And I never knew that there was a different way of.
Sure.
I didn't know people bought like new tires. I thought it was a waste of money.
Yeah.
And now, like as an adult, like obviously putting a lot of tires on cars, it's like, oh, I know exactly what I want. Like it makes a huge difference.
Ryan, what about you? What were your earliest tire stories?
Well, actually, a lot like you, my dad being in motorsports and being a crew chief for a long time, like I knew that tires got changed regularly and why they had to be. But also, my dad being a very strict car guy, he would never allow any of us to have like a situation like poor Yuri had to go through. So it was forced upon me that we had good tires on all our cars. And I remember once I got a flat and I was complaining to my dad that we had to buy the same brand. I was like, I'll just get another one. Like, it doesn't have to be the same one. He's like, what's wrong with you? You've been raised better
You're
than that.
not my son.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, but I remember later on in life, when I started to go buy tires, like you could just go on like TireRack.com.
Sure.
And I did that. And I was like showing my dad, like, oh, it's all right here. I can just get the cheapest, whatever. And he was like, stop, buy the right product,
Right.
And I was like, but you can get a good deal. And he's like, let it go. Yeah. So that's probably my most famous memory about it would be my dad instilling it upon me in racing that if you don't have good tires, you're not going to win.
Quality matters for
Yeah,
sure.
Definitely.
All right. Well, we should get going, but Continental brought us all here today because we all have an attachment to our first car, and there's almost like a bonding experience that comes from being able to share those kind of stories. Even if you're not a car person, I think almost anybody can relate to their first car. That I think it's the one thing, even if you didn't grow up in a car household or you never didn't turn into a car
Sure.
person, you could almost ask anybody on the street about their first car, and they'd probably have some sort of sentiment attached to it because it's that time in your life. It's that time where you're kind of learning about how things are going to go for yourself.
No, I agree with you. I think there's a nostalgia to those first car memories, and it's such a sort of a formative time in your life too. It's like we're talking about a car representing freedom at that age. I think it's a very evocative topic, and I think it makes sense to me that as car guys, it'd be a fun topic to talk about and share with people, and sort of fire up those memories and enthusiasm around cars and tires. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the most fun was actually digging up old footage, old photos, and finding is more like I have a lot apparently of like old photos and video of my car, and I wish I had more because there's so many memories that like I don't have video of. So I think that was probably my most fun thing is finding photos, finding videos, and just thinking more about my first car. Like I still have my green spoiler in my garage chilling. So if I actually do buy or find one for $500, I can have it color matched at Mako, which I will go to and be like single stage. Because I want it to look exactly the same if I ever find one for cheap enough.
But this time it would have 4 matching Continental tires.
Of course. Well, maybe Continental's on the back and no, I'm kidding. Yeah.
But your photos are a perfect example. I guarantee you, every one of those photos, when you look at it, you're not just thinking about the car or the color. You're
yeah,
thinking
you
about
remember the sound and
the
like
sound,
where you were, the friends.
Yeah, you're also thinking about like remember how you felt when you spoke to the person at Mako, or it brings back some memory of the girl you didn't ask out, or every one of these is a slice of life at that age, where there's way more than just the car.
I can still smell that paint.
Yeah, sure.
All right, gentlemen. Well, I'd say we've learned a lot about each other. Ben, I think we learned a lot about you today.
Too
Probably,
much.
yeah,
really.
too much. Yeah.
I'd say thanks to Continental Tire for bringing us together today to talk about this stuff. I mean, we traveled from all over the country. You guys came from Canada just to talk about our first car, and that's pretty cool.
Yeah, thanks for having us, guys. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was great.
It was a blast.